Hi, I'm Linda. Glad to have you back. Today I'm starting a brand new painting, an autumn fall one with lots of beautiful colors. It's very similar to one that I just posted, Autumn's Last Song, but it's got more of a tunnel effect that goes way back. Lots of beautiful big oak trees with the path. You're going to love these colors. So I hope you can pause and paint with me, stream. If you go to my Facebook page, click on a video, and you'll see on the top right-hand corner a little white square. Click on that, and it should take you to your master TV, and you should be able to pause and paint from there. So I hope you can. So let's get started. And these are the acrylic and oil paints I used. Acrylic white, cad yellow, and brown. In oils, it was liquid white, black, Van Dyke brown, sap green, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, orange, alizarin crimson, and red. And so now I'm starting on a clean, dry canvas with some white acrylic. I'm using a little round brush, and I'm just doing some little X strokes, just putting some white areas here and there. Doesn't have to be a lot. It's just in some of the areas where I'm going to have some cad yellow for background leaves. So I just do mainly the top, right and left corner, and then down in the center there, halfway down. Now I'm taking some cad yellow with the same brush. It's acrylic still, and I'm just dabbing, just dotting some little background noise, you might say, for some leaves, just background color. So I'm just doing the right side there a little bit, and then I'm going to move over. I'll do the top a little bit, into the other side, the left side, and then more, quite a bit on the top, I guess, and then in the middle, and just below the halfway mark, I'm going to have the opening to the tunnel that goes far beyond the trees. I'm going to have a light area right in this bottom center there, and some leaves, yellow leaves on the right and left. So just kind of dot here and there. Just get some background color in there. So now I'm taking Van Dyke brown. It is acrylic still, and I'm putting in far away trees. I'm going to put one little tree way in the distance on the right, and on the left another little tree. It's going to be part of the tunnel effect, but they're just kind of an idea, a guideline there for where I'm going to have my trees. I'm just using a little small brush there, liner brush, and just putting in indentation of faraway trees in the distance. So I'm going to let that dry. I'll put in a couple more there, but I'm going to let it dry. And now I'm going to add some liquid white, which is oil. After everything's dry, I can put this liquid white on to give it kind of a foggy, misty look. So I'm just going to put some of that liquid white here and there, blending. And then after I get done, I'm going to take a shop rag, a blue shop towel, and just going to take a little bit of that excess white off. So I don't need a lot of it, but see there I'm taking my shop towel and just gently wiping a little bit of that off. But at least I've got the foggy effect in the tunnel that I want. So now I'm taking Van Dyke brown and a touch of black, and I'm going to put in a background brush there alongside of the tunnel, just some little trees, indentations of trees. I've got a fan brush, and I'm doing up and down, and then like sideways, just creating, and then I'm etching out the edge of the path. And there I go, kind of fanning out toward the corner, bottom front of that canvas, and then I'll take that brown, dark brown, and I'll go all the way along the bottom edge. And I'll do the same on the other side. I'm creating a path that's narrower by the opening there where the trees are, and then it'll kind of fan out as I come to the edge, the bottom edge of the canvas. Kind of a triangle effect. So I'm just laying the groundwork for some browns, groundwork there. I'm using a little fan brush and just kind of shaping my path. Kind of going in a little bit. I don't want a totally straight line. I'd like to have it kind of jagged. So now I am adding, same with the same brush, fan brush, and I'm just angled vertical, and I'm making some indentation of some far away trees or branches back there, probably trees. Because there's a lot of foliage in that background. I will be putting some twigs and things and branches in there, but now I'm going to my olive green, which is sap green with a touch of yellow. I'm going to go right at the bottom of that pathway there, the entrance. I'm going to put a little bit of that sap green right there and do side-to-side motions with my fan brush to create the path. And if you want to darken that green a little, just add a little bit of Van Dyke brown, just a little, or burnt sienna. It will, because you want it darker as you come forward, and the lightest will be right there at that opening of the tunnel. So I'm just going to go back and forth, kind of swinging my brush there. Not all the way to the edges, because I'm going to have some brown in there. So I like to see things natural, you know, or realistic, I should say. So I'm putting some brown in there, and I'm extending that green out right to the edge of the pathway. Just tap it in. Just tap. And it'll blend in. Oil is so neat to use. It doesn't dry very fast. You can work it and it moves. And now before I do my leaves, I wanted to show you a little trick that I have. I took a sea sponge from a bath department, and I cut little pieces out on that sponge, creating some really neat little shapes for leaves. And I just thought I'd share that with you. I've got long ones and short ones and kind of round ones. So now I'm dipping into my orange, bright orange, straight orange, and I'm going to tap at the top of the canvas, just kind of twisting my wrist, and so that there are no two shapes alike. It's a little different than using a brush. You've got some definite shapes, and I do like those leaf shapes, and you'll see how it turns out in the end. Now I just want to cross with the same orange, just creating leaves coming downward, and I'll be adding some reds up there, which I have already, straight red, maybe a little alizarin crimson. But now I am starting my trees. I want to put my trees in before I layer those leaves, as some of the leaves will be on the front of those trees, so I need to have them in. I've got a filbert, kind of a, I believe it's a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 inch filbert. It's a real soft brush. I'm just loading up with Van Dyke Brown, coming straight down, kind of curling it at the bottom there. And you can make it as fat as you want, but I wanted this one not real heavy, not a real big tree. But I'm putting an arm there. It's coming out. And another little arm out. I think I may switch to a script brush after a bit here, and I'll be adding some finer branches, more delicate, put it this way. Put another smaller tree in front or in back of that one, and I'm putting some little arms there. I've got one in front of it, a smaller tree. I'm leaving a little space there to let some of that light come through. Once I put the yellow acrylic, it'll look really nice. I am adding some more branches, smaller trees at the base. Now that one, I'm putting a big old oak tree that is leaning to the right there. It's leaning, so it's kind of hard to explain, but you'll see after I put the shading on it, it is separate from this big tree that I'm adding now. With dark sienna, a little bit of black, because I want it really dark. I want it very dark. I'll be adding highlights on later, but I'm just putting in the basic shapes right now. It's going all the way to the top. Now I will be filling that, the right side, I'll be filling that in. That is going to be one huge oak tree. So go ahead and fill that in. Then I'll work on the other side. Small tree there. Not real big, but about the same size as the other side is. It'll thicken up. I'll thicken that up in a little bit here. But I want to make sure it's pretty straight. And the brush I'm using is really a soft brush. And it works really nice with the oil. Now putting a second arm up there. Thickening up that first one a little bit. There we go. Now I putting in the huge one down in the bottom left corner. It's pretty big, and I'm kind of making an L shape, curving the base of that into the green a little bit. I wanted to put my trees in first so I know where they're at, and I can put my background accordingly. Just going to go straight up, and looks like burnt sienna there, and I believe it is, but I do darken the inside edge with almost black. It's really, really dark. But the left side, the sunlight does hit it a little bit there. So I believe I do accent that on with some yellow. Just fill that in. I'm making it pretty good size. Okay, I've added some smaller trees in the back, kind of building them up a little bit. The one in the front is shorter, and there's going to be some more in front of that are very light, almost a, what's the color? Almost a mustard color. The sun is hitting it, so it's very, very light. But these trees here will gradually come forward and will be bigger. They'll get smaller, bigger, and then I'll be highlighting those with some sunlight on the inside edge. A lot of these leaves, fall leaves, will cover some of the trees at the top, because I'll be using some alizarin crimson and reds, and they'll really cover those, so you don't have to really go all the way to the top. But okay, I'm taking my little handy dandy sponge there, and I dip my sponge in a little bit of thinner, and then I dab it. I don't want it sopping wet, but I want it sort of, soft, and so I dip it in my paint, and it seems to stick better. I'm putting a little bit of alizarin crimson and red, variation of color back there. There are spots that are lighter. I want the sun to come through, so I don't want it solid, but I do want the top part fairly dark. And the leaves over the trees, they will blend in. After a while, the trees will seem to disappear back there. The leaves will be overpowering. So now I'm adding red, just straight red. Kind of moving my wrist here and there, just trying to get the downward angle of some pretty leaves. So now I'm into my Van Dyke brown and black. I am kind of highlighting some of these branches. I want them to really stand out, where they've kind of disappeared a little bit, but I want to bring them forward a little bit. And I'll be adding little branches here and there. Because it's a forest, there's lots of little branches. And down there, I'm working on the trees. Yeah, the trees coming up. And they're disappearing into the distance. So now I'm in my sap green with a little bit of yellow. I want a really light green. I'm going to lighten up that entrance there, just where the sun is hitting. I'm going to lighten that little path area up. And the edges there where the ends of the trees are, I've added some color to the base of the trees, a little bit of orange and yellow. And I'm just kind of tweaking the bases of my trees with some shadow, a little Van Dyke brown, and just kind of tweaking them in there, because the trees will show a shadow there. A little bit of orange and red. I'm going to put some little bit of foliage there. This is more yellow, but the sun is hitting there. I'm going to put a little foliage down there. Maybe some leaves are gathering at the base of that tree. So I'm using my fan brush And it's all you do is just lift up a little bit. Get some awesome shapes. Just tapping away, a little more yellow, and a little yellow in the grassy areas in the front. So now I'm putting highlights on the trees way in back, little light yellow and white, and I'm going along the inside edge of those trees. To create sunlight where they hit. I'm going to work on this back branch there. I'd like some highlight those leaves that are coming down off of that branch. And I'm working on some leaves coming down on the side of that big old tree. Put red down first. I'm touching it with yellow. I'm adding a little yellow in front there, just flicking up with my brush. And I see a finished painting here. I really enjoyed this one. I hope you did too. So until next time, God bless and happy painting. Glad to have you back. Today I'm starting a brand new painting. And wow, okay, that was done in a hurry.